guys doing? It's hot, huh? It's wintertime in Kenya, so I wore a jacket the whole time. They're south of the equator, so just imagine this. When they celebrate Christmas, it's like 105 degrees outside, or for them it's 40, and do the math. And it's weird. Anyway, I'm gonna show you a video, and the video is the highlight reel that everybody's gonna see across the state today. And then I'll show you some of the pictures that I didn't put in the highlight reel, and we'll talk about Paul's last missionary journey and my most recent missionary journey as we go through it. And Yes, that's because Terry wasn't there. No, I was behind the camera for most of the 2 weeks. I do have a picture of proof that I was doing something. Did feed giraffes. Yeah, I did do that. So I don't remember what order these are in, and so I'm going to try to share as much as I can about the parts that were most impactful as we go along. So African Nazarene University was a college before, but they finally got permission and went through the process of becoming a university in 1994, and there were 0 buildings on the campus we were at in 1994, and this past weekend they had almost 900 students graduate. It took 6 hours to get through graduation. And they do it a little bit different. The only person who got to walk up to the platform was, they had one doctoral candidate that succeeded in defending his dissertation and got his cap. And then everybody else just stands in their seat because it took forever. It was super awesome to participate in that. In the video, that was the big outside tent that they were setting up. It took them 3 days to set that up. And we didn't share this with everybody. We found out when we got there that there was some political unrest happening, and we were moment by moment deciding if we were going to have a graduation. Like, we decided to try to move it inside, but at graduation, there's only 1,000 seats inside the tent. 4,500 people showed up. Because when somebody in Kenya graduates from anything, especially college, the entire tribe and the entire village show up because it's that exciting of a thing. And so they are standing out there for hours trying to get a seat. You know, you guys seen Times Square on New Year's Eve? That's what it looked like the whole time we were there. And it was super cool. But that little black dot in the middle is a baboon right outside my, they call them hostels, right outside my dorm room. So we got there, and I thought everything is surrounded by 8-foot-tall walls and razor wire, and all of the doors have wrought iron porches, and I was like, man, is crime really that bad? Yes, but it's more to keep the animals out of your building than it is to keep the people out. Like, our door didn't have a lock on it. It was a broom handle that got stuck through it because we call raccoons trash pandas and pests, right? A baboon there is the equivalent of a raccoon, and they are everywhere. They are all over the place. It is not uncommon to see a Pumbaa, which is a warthog. I learned when I got there that the names from the Lion King are the names of the animal. Like, Pumbaa is a warthog. Except Rafiki. Rafiki means friend in Swahili, not baboon. So you all know Swahili words and you didn't even know it. Anyway, this is our container. I was telling some of you guys, a shop vac for us costs about $30, right, at Home Depot. A shop vac there is about $1,500 because they don't have them and they have to import them. So all of the tools they have are from work and witness trips like mine, where we bring them all the stuff we can fit in an extra suitcase. So 24 of us went, and we brought 12 extra suitcases full of tools and school supplies and toothpaste. We paid taxes on it, which was fun. We negotiated down to about $500 in taxes because taxes are negotiable there. That's an upside. You can negotiate everything. They tell you your ride into town costs 1,000 shillings, which is like $7, by the way, and you say, no, 500, you got it for 350. Most of the time they'll take you. But they have a shipping container, much like the ones that's usually sitting across the street, that they have turned into their workshop that has all of the tools from the last 20 years of work and witness trips and adapters, because we use a weird plug than theirs. So we spent a lot of time in here, and I'll tell you about paint. So you saw the kid mixing the paint with the drill. They don't have paint thinner, and paint is expensive, so they add water to everything. And so the paint is about 1/3 water, and they don't have great water. So when you open a can of paint from the last work and witness team, it smells so bad. And then you paint with it for a day or two till you get to the next can, and then it starts to smell better. So it was interesting. You saw the before and after. Our goal was to go and transform one 21st century classroom. So they had old school classrooms that are just normal classrooms, but they're trying to boost their online program to the point that if you guys really wanted to, you could go to school at night to African Nazarene University for a third the cost of going to Point Loma. It's about $5,000 a year to go to school at ANU. Anyway, they don't have the technology to do it, so we brought everything but TVs with us. We brought cameras and TV mounts and computers and pieces, and we built classrooms so that they can do online school. Because when COVID hit, everybody went home, and Kenya got hit really, really hard. And so there were kids trying to do their homework assignments by cell phone. And you guys remember way back in the day when you had to buy data for your phone? Still do it that way. And they're still on 4G. So they're 3G and 4G. And some of those kids are like, it cost them, in our case, $50 to do a homework assignment because they had to buy data. And so having the ability to have better technology to go online and do it via computer is why we were there and a lot of what we did. This is proof that I did some work. It's the only picture. I grabbed a paint pan, and I don't paint because I was in the Navy. We paint once for dust and twice for rust. Nobody wants me to paint anything. I don't have a picture of it, but I ran 2,500 feet of Cat 5 cable all throughout this building when it was my turn to do the stuff I was brought for, because I don't paint. No, I painted for a while. I'm just not good at it. Nobody wants me to paint. I did paint our house, and it took months, didn't it? Yes, took a long time. We painted our old house. Anyway, this is a before of the classroom. We left the desks in there, but we pulled out all of the wiring, all of the electrical. We stripped all the walls, and then we painted them and put in a bunch of new stuff. And so it looks like this when it's totally done. We got about 90% done. So each desk has 3 computers. And then there's a big network box in the back that connects all the computers. And so the teacher, when they're sitting at their desk, can see their computer, but they can also see anybody else's computer and walk through stuff with them all in the same thing. And then it's hard to see, but right in the middle on the top is this weird coffee can looking thing. That's actually a camera, and it has 360-degree microphones in it and a camera in the bottom that spins, and it auto-detects audio and turns the camera to that direction. So when they're in their live stream classes, they can all talk to each other in class and online. Yeah. They are old. Like really old. They're on like Windows 3.1. I'm kidding. What was before Windows XP?
I don't remember.
Anyway, they're that old. And they don't... I'm going to squirrel a lot of this to make sure I cover all of it, but they don't have trash service. They burn everything. And you can't burn computers, so they quite literally have a whole building, and by building I mean this big of a building that is just floor to ceiling old computers.
Spare parts.
If you wanted to start a business and you wanted to move to Kenya and do a recycling electronics business, I'm pretty sure you would be a millionaire or billionaire in shillings, because it takes a lot of dollars to make shillings. They just building upon building full of leftover computer parts. But this is what it looks like when it's done. The chevrons on the right are their branding. We put that in each classroom. We finished one room, we painted a second one, and started painting a third one, and there's another team from another denomination that gets there today that will finish the work we started. And then the guy that was ripping the thing off the wall that couldn't do it, that's Pastor Josh. He's the lead pastor at Phoenix First, and he is the Arizona District Missions President. He is taking another team back in September to finish 2 more classrooms. And hopefully get through them all. This is Osoita's. This is a place we went to eat to experience traditional Kenyan food. A lot of goat, a lot of what they call ugali, which is maize flour, and they look like crab cakes, but they taste really bad, and kale. Right? And that's what they eat almost every day. And I didn't have a single dessert in 12 days. They don't eat dessert. They eat fruit with every meal. Breakfast, fruit. Lunch, fruit. I lost 9 pounds eating fruit for 12 days. I went to Red Robin the day we got back. I got all 9 pounds back. But this was one of the cool places we went to eat. This is our team, and one of the things, this is the first time I got emotional on a trip. I think I have a picture of it, but every team that goes to African Nazarene University gets a plaque that says when they were there and everybody's name's on it. I walked, it's in the Court of Honor, so there's a big clock in the middle, and there's stars that come off like a sundial, and they're just lined with names and plaques. As humbly as I can say this, we have the biggest one. Not the most names, the biggest plaque. Oh, there it is. So that's all of our names. And I got kind of emotional because like this. My name is permanently on a wall in Africa, along with 23 other people.
And they spelled it right.
They did spell it right. I noticed. I checked. Yeah, it was a good time. Bottom in the middle. Bottom row in the middle. I'll point to it right here. There you go. Bottom in the middle. What else? That is a lizard that is the size of David. And I forget what it's called. It starts with an L, but it's not lizard. So we went on a safari. And by safari, I mean you're in the school bus and you're just driving around the Nairobi National Park. And there's stuff in the video. I forgot it was in there. I was going to ask first. But in the video, there's a lion eating a porcupine right on the side of the road. And I left some of the pictures out, but it was a fight. It was a battle. She's pretty beat up after it. Pumbaa! I looked all over the place to find Pumbaa.
And there's a giraffe.
There is a giraffe, but that's a warthog. Have you ever seen The Lion King? Really? You have grandkids. You haven't seen The Lion King? That is your homework this week. Go watch The Lion King. Either version.
Here's a live action.
No, the cartoon. Animated. Both of them.
I mean, they're both good.
Yeah. Oh, it's a video.
Run, Shinnigan.
I didn't realize it was a video. Oh, it's upside down. There it goes. So we stumbled across these guys driving down the road. This is a mom and a baby, and they came up that close to the bus. Did I get scared? We thought she was going to charge us for a minute. There's a picture I have, and it's just square on right at the battle unicorn.
Did you move to the other side of the bus?
No, I was already on the other side of the bus. It was a good time. Nairobi's National Park is the largest natural game preserve in the world. It is like 360 acres, and there's wildebeests and hartebeests and lions and pumbas and giraffes and rhinos. We had a guy, his name's Jermaine. They go on this trip every time a Work and Witness team comes. They go to the park. 14 years he's been going to the park. He's never seen a rhino. He saw 13 white rhinos and 2 black rhinos in the same trip. And black rhinos are like, nobody ever gets to see those. And I have a picture of them somewhere. I also have a picture of hippos, but you can only see like that much of them because they're like this far above the water. But it's kind of cool. It's linked to another national park further away, so the animals can still migrate. So they can migrate south they still go south for the winter, and then they can come back. So we started to see wildebeest send out scouts. They send out one wildebeest will go up to where their normal home is and see if it's okay and see if the grass is green and then come back and report. I don't know what language they speak, but it happens. We got to see 2 single wildebeest that come out and do their scouting and would eventually go back. So the team in September will get to see a whole lot more animals. This guy, this is James. That's his Christian name. I can't pronounce his tribal name, but he is the guy that took us to the bridge from the Maasai tribe. The Maasai tribe is the local indigenous people that live in the Nairobi area, and they have we'll call it a reservation. They call it something else, but their place where they live and do very traditional work and stuff like that. There we are. You can clearly see that I did not use my razor the entire time I was there. There's the bridge, the random bridge to dinner. You had to take the bridge to get to dinner. The bridge was awesome.
Was it scary?
Oh yeah, incredibly. That's somebody else's picture of me on the bridge. They said you could only go 7 at a time, and there's 24 of us, so we had to split it up. And I was the first one going there and back. And when the second person gets on the bridge, you know, because the whole thing sinks. It is. Yeah, it was fun. Not so much, no. I mean, it rocked a lot, and like they say, don't look down. Don't look down and don't look straight. Looking left to right was okay, but looking straight, like you can see it, like doing it was great.
Did you kiss the ground on the other side?
No, because you had to hike up another 100 feet to get back to the path. So the New Scent Center, this is the tearjerker for everybody in my group. So on Sunday, in the middle, we went, this is, in our language, it's an orphanage. And we spent a lot of time there. That's where most of our school supplies and most of our food and like deodorant and toothbrushes and stuff like that. We took half a bus of stuff because it was half people and half suitcases. This lady, her name's Flora, and you saw her a little bit in the video. 10 years ago, she started this thing called the New Scent Center, and I have play it for you. It is 45 minutes long, and my arms hurt at the end of it because I was holding the camera in front of me so that I wouldn't drop it. Anyway, she got a call from God to start to adopt orphan girls that were forced into questionable relationships. My kids are here, so I can't give you the details, but it's bad, right? My worst nightmare is a glorious day compared to some of what these girls go through. Anyway, she started out in her apartment, and by apartment, like the size of the bathroom is the size of her first apartment, and she had 9 kids in there with her. And then she moved to a building that's the size of both bathrooms and had 20 kids. To now, she has a piece of property. She has a 3-story building that they use as a dorm room. They have another 3-story building. They are trying as a place to be self-sufficient. So they're doing their own farming. They're raising their own crops. They have chickens and goats and stuff running around. And they're trying to finish their school because right now they rent a building from a school. And best guess, trying to convert shillings to dollars, she's $250,000 in debt trying to do what she's trying to do. And there's no public help from the government in Kenya. They kind of don't really care. 1 in 5 children in Kenya is an orphan. In the slums, it's 3 in 5. Nope, it's always been that way. Just the way they are. Most children get sold into some form of sexual slavery, whether at home with their own mom, sold to somebody else to do the job. In Flora and the New Scent Center, they have 70 girls. There are babies in there. That's the part that hurts. There are 8, 9, 10-month-old kids in this thing. But they send them through school, they teach them skills, and so by the time they get done graduating, they should be able to go to university or go to college and do some things for themselves. But their classroom is an unfinished building. Oh, we'll get back to that one. That's a cool one. We'll talk about that one in a minute. Anyway, their classroom, did you see the building that looked like it got blown up? It was gray. That's their classroom. It's not finished because they ran out of money, but they meet on the bottom floor. They ran the electrical and they put the desks in there, and the floor is still dirt. There's no doors, there's no windows, but that's the only inside space they have to do school, and that's where they teach high school. And they do it every day, 5 days a week. The big picture, the big video in the video of all the kids standing on a stage singing, they have church in their garage because they don't have a place to do it. And they bring in kids from all over the community. They have 70 kids on campus, and on Sundays there's 300 people that come from all over the community to have church. Some of them walk 2 hours to get to church, and then we have church for a couple hours, and then they walk home. Lots of good times. That hurt. We had lunch with them. We had a whole bunch of stuff. It's the video of all the girls in the dresses, and you saw them playing with everybody's hair because they all have really, really short hair. But they're from not walking all the way up to graduating high school aged, and Flora does a fantastic job. The reason she calls it the New Scent Center is super powerful, and I can't do it justice enough, but she explained that when you get stuck in a life of slavery, the smells are what haunt you. And the smells are what you remember. And so the idea between the New Scent Center is that you have a new breath of life through Christ, and that you don't have to worry about where you came from, and that you can go on to a deeper life in Christ, which is awesome. The work she does is fantastic. I wish I could give her all the money in the world, because we hang out and I preach, but that woman is really doing the hands and feet of Jesus every day, and it's tough. They just got their well dug, so they have water. Trying to make up some money, they're doing a filtered water system so they can sell water to try to pay for finishing their building and trying to pay for supplies. It will. She just got approved to be part of Nazarene Compassion Ministries. So when you tithe to us, 13% of everything you give us, we give away, and some of it goes to that, which is awesome. It's fantastic. She just got approved. They're trying to figure out how to get money to her without it costing so much, because right now it's almost 30%. To get through Kenyon's banking system. So things, we call it creative access, but there are some cases. We took her $20,000 in cash this trip, like in her pockets, so that she didn't have to go through the banking system to have to pay interest on it. That's a good chunk for her. It's not going to finish a building, but it's going to buy food. We also took her 100 pounds of flour and 100 pounds of rice, and so fun stuff. Anyway, these ladies in the picture, this is Kazuri beads. Kazuri means young and beautiful, and you saw a bunch of people dancing. This is the adult version of the New Scent Center. Kazuri finds women who need to develop skills and need a job and are trying to get out of a lifestyle of questionable activities, and gives them a job, and they hand make jewelry. Like, they make ceramic beads and stuff, they hand paint them, and then they glaze them, and they cook them, and they sell them all over the world. My kids got a couple of bracelets, and I forgot to put mine on. I bought one for me, too. But they sell them all over the place, so if you ever see something that says Kazuri, it goes to a place in the middle of nowhere in Kenya where these ladies sit outside and make beads all day so that they can have a life and a job and do better than sleeping on the side of the road. Oh, this is church at the New Scent Center. This is the kids. They have church outside in the garage, and they sing really, really fast in Swahili. And they like it really, really, like, it was loud for me. Like, it's really loud. They have a makeshift sound system and an amazing keyboard player, and I wanted earplugs. It was impressive. And that's saying a lot, huh? This is our whole group. This is most of the girls from the New Scent Center and all of our team that went to go have church with them and eat dinner with them and hang out and just see what they were doing and give them a bunch of supplies. It was tearjerker. I've cried the whole ride. It took 2 hours to get back to the campus from here, and most of us cried the whole time. It was... no, they eat pretty much the same thing. Goat, chicken, rice, flour, and spinach and kale. Stuff that's readily available, grows pretty naturally. And fruit. There's fruit everywhere. Shoes. This is a big pile of shoes. They put all their shoes outside because most of them run around barefoot, and they all know to go get their shoes if they ever leave the compound, which is a little bit bigger than our 1.25 acres here, and it's fenced 10 feet tall with razor wire. They have an awesome security team. Lots of good stuff. Graduation. This was cool, just to be part of graduation. So to go through and take the idea of, we built classrooms, but then to see those classrooms become almost 900 students going on to do something else. In Kenya's leadership, their, what is it called? Attorney General, the lead lawyer in the country, is a graduate of African Nazarene University. Most of their assistant district attorneys graduated. Their #1 program is law, and their #2 is computer science. And their theme and their motto is, what happens here transforms the world. Graduates from African Nazarene University work in 120 different countries. So when they do there, go somewhere else. And it's super fantastic. Okay, I saved this one for last. It's upside down. I had a sermon, I'm out of time, so you're just going to have to go and read all of Acts and understand Paul's missionary journey. If I could give you one thing to take away before I show you this video, is when you leave here, you're in the mission field. I know that's cliche and we joke about it. When you leave here and you go to wherever it is you're going, a lot of times we talk about sharing the gospel, but act like we don't need it. And if there's one thing I took away from going on this trip, it's that I need Jesus just as much as everybody else does. So when you leave today and you go and you think about sharing the gospel and inviting friends to church and talking about life, remember you need Jesus too, right? Okay. Try not to laugh too hard. No, I have a normal job. Try not to laugh, please. I kissed a giraffe, and then I got in trouble for it. They were like, don't kiss the giraffes. I'm like, she kissed me. Anyway, it was a good time. There was a lot to take away. I took 3,700 photos and 1,900 videos and tried to narrow that down to 5 minutes. Took me all week. But thank you to Susan and Kathy and Ron and anybody else for helping keep the church functional while I was gone. I had a good time. Best money I've ever spent. That was a lot. Anyway, that's what to be a missionary, I don't know. It cost me $3,000 to do that. And 400 of it went to various projects and to help certain things. Most of it was flight and food. But yeah, I think that's it. Announcements, yeah.
What is the cost of a dinner or lunch or
We are not going there. Get it.
About $15. So 1,000 shillings. 1,000 shillings is $7, and each dinner was about 2,000 shillings, give or take. And there are places, like we went to the mall, and I had Pizza Hut for lunch one day. So there are things like that. But most of their stuff, like we had the American breakfast, which was a hard-boiled egg, pancakes, and bacon. It's like $4.50 a person. $4.50, so 450 shillings. So it's about the same. The problem is, I was telling some of you guys, 85% of the world doesn't have a refrigerator. In Kenya, 90% of the people have never seen one. And so every day you go find your local market or your local slum area and you buy your fruit, your vegetables, and if you saw a chicken yesterday and you can't find it, they're probably cooking it for dinner today, because that's just the way they do it. Goats, same way. And goat is chewy. I left that picture out, but if you want to know all the different things I ate, come and ask me, because there are some questionable ones. We went to a restaurant called Carnivore. And it is buffet style, but they bring it to you. And so if they walk by and you want it, they'll give it to you. They did have salad. I didn't eat it, but they had salad. And my table won. So we had 12 at one and 12 at the other. And you have a flag, and you drop the flag when you're done, when you surrender. We didn't. They took our flag. We didn't put it down. They're like, it's all you can eat, not eat all you can see. Because we ate. Man, did we eat. They're their own country, and they use shillings, and the shillings has all of their leaders, their local leaders on it. Yeah. They speak broken British English. sometimes. Make you laugh. We were in Kenya, and our host for the 2 weeks we were there is a Nazarene church appointed missionary to Africa from Mexico. So he speaks broken everything. He's trying to learn Swahili, speaks Spanish really well, but doesn't speak English very well. So there's a lot of translating going on, and a lot of us yelling at him in Spanish because it's fun. Anyway, it was a good time. I will keep asking questions. We are way over time, but if you guys want to keep asking questions. They drive on the wrong side of the road. Everything is diesel. I don't know. It's cheaper, I guess. Anyway, I did kiss a giraffe.
When the giraffe kissed you, did you keep your tongue in the back of the...
Yes, my tongue stayed in my mouth. Oh my goodness. Yes, sir.
Drinking water?
You don't drink the water. You hope it comes in a bottle. For when we were on campus, they brought us like the water cooler with the big jug, and so we use that most of the time. But if you were out in town, you buy water like in a bottle, and 500 milliliters. They use the metric system is $4. So 2 of these is $4.
So I am assuming they filter the water?
Yes, like they have Coke, so like they have soda. Everything comes in glass. They recycle glass, so you're buying a glass of water, but it's this big. Yeah, but yes, the water in the bottles is filtered. You don't drink the water out of the ground.
Do the regular people drink the
Nope.
water?
I assume some do. All of the people I encountered drink bottled water whenever possible.
Glass and not plastic.
Yeah, and you give it back or they get mad at you.